What is going on, Sabres fans? Welcome to another episode of Sabres Spotlight with your host, Matt and Ryan. Ryan, what's going on, man?
What's going on, Sabres fans? How y'all doing out there? How you doing, Matt?
Dude, did you just give us your little intro? I mean, we've
I
never
don't
had
know.
that before.
I don't know what that was, but it just kind of rolled off the tip of my tongue. I liked it a lot.
We had like a little double intro, and we're off to a fucking hot start tonight.
Yeah, goddamn.
Not too much, man. Not too much. It was an interesting week with the Sabres. Lots to talk about with this team right now. They're somewhat in shambles, but there's definitely lots and lots to talk about. And we have probably our most minimalist show doc ever. So we're just gonna kind of see where this one takes us tonight. But
Dude, let
yeah,
me
go ahead.
so the Sabres so far, I've teetered between we're so back and it's so over every single day. Like no matter it's crazy. It just one day everything sucks. The next day man, we're gonna win the cup someday. I don't know. I don't know. It's awful.
Yeah, it seems like it's like kind of like a pure like dichotomy. Like, is that the right word that I'm using there? You think? Oh yeah, listen to
I
this. I
think
just
so.
I
That's a
just
pretty big
googled it
word.
real quick.
I don't
A
know.
div- a division or
I'm not sure.
contrast between two things that are represented as being opposed or entirely different. So we're looking at a dichotomy of a Sabre season right now.
Well, that's interesting. I'm not sure our listeners are smart enough for the word dichotomy, but we'll take it.
Dude, no, the listeners are smart enough. We're not smart enough to use it.
Yeah, you're right. You're right. You're right. I apologize to all the listeners out there. I'm feeling a little spicy tonight, if you can't tell. I'm feeling just a little spicy.
We're on a roll. We're on a roll. We're using big words, and we got a double intro. So this is off to just a real hot start here. But all right, let's get into our intros before we get into all that nonsense. So what's going on? What's new with you?
Dude, honestly, like nothing. I feel like the most like don't laugh, you little bitch. The most the most like excitement in my life that happened over the past like week is the fact that we lost power yesterday due to the windstorm that we have.
You
And
did? I
really
didn't know
that's
that.
yeah, we lost power for, almost the whole day. I was off yesterday. What a day to lose power on my day off. I was so bored. But besides that, dude, it's been like super chill and relaxed, and that's great because after the holidays, I feel like we were running around so much. So just, a whole week of just like R&R at home really never hurt anyone.
Do you guys lose power a lot where you are?
Yeah, it's crazy. Where I am, like the wind could be blowing like super light, and it's like, well, fuck, we can't go anywhere because we might lose power.
Yeah, it's weird how that works. Like, we must be in like a good spot on our power grid because like we've been here 5 years and I think we've lost power like twice. Like I don't know. It's
Wow.
just like we just get super lucky with that shit, I guess. But all right, cool.
What about
Yeah, I
you?
mean, yeah, dude. So I got two things here. The first one. So my dad had his 60th birthday party. I don't know if you. I'm sure Katie
Oh,
posted pictures on Facebook and
yeah,
shit,
I think
but
I saw happy birthday on the old book.
yeah, I don't go on Facebook that much, but I know Katie put pictures on there. Yeah, but happy birthday to my dad. He turned 60 last week, so we had like a little surprise birthday party for him at Chef's. Which, dude, I don't go to
Oh,
Chef's a lot.
chefs. Wow.
Yeah, we've been there like a couple times, me and Katie, but this is my first time there in probably like a couple years. Wow, what good food! It was crazy. You been there?
A couple times. I wasn't really impressed though. I'll be honest
Really?
with you.
Really? Well, do
Yeah.
you like Italian food a lot or no?
Oh, yeah, of course I do. Italian
Are you
slaps.
Italian? Gratacci. Is that
Yes.
is that
Yeah,
Italian?
yeah. I'm like a quarter Italian. I'm mostly Polish, but yeah, there's Italian in my blood.
All right. So it was kind of funny because like my dad. This was obviously a surprise for my dad. So he didn't know, and I don't think he knew, but it's like so the way it's set up, it's like you walk in and then our room was like right to the right. So if you go to the left, that's like the restaurant, whatnot,
Yeah.
and then the right is like their, I don't know if they have more, but it's at least the room that we were in celebrating. So my dad's coming in, and my mom, she somewhat ruined it because she's like my so it was a snowy day that day. So my dad, they get in, and my mom opens the door, but she wasn't like, my dad wasn't ready to come in yet. My dad was like stopping off his boots like on the rug there. So my dad's doing that, and she opens this door to the right, and obviously my dad's like, well, why the hell are we going that way? And so he looks in and he sees me because I'm dead in front of him. So he sees me, but he can't see anybody else. So he's like, right away, he knows something's going on. So I'm just like,
Yep.
by myself, I'm just like, surprise. So then he comes in and like sees everybody, and it was like no big deal after that. Kind of cool, I think he was surprised, but it was just kind of funny how it all started. But it was, dude, it was so cool. My dad, I'm glad we did this for him because he just like, he does everything for us, and he's just that typical dad that just knows how to fix everything. And anytime anything is wrong at the house, or I need to just call him for something, it's he's always there. And well, I call my dad all the time, even during the Sabres games, the Bills games. We just like, we're talking nonstop, and I just love him, and he does everything for us and the kids. So it was nice to have a day to celebrate him and everything that he's done. So
Yeah, shout out your dad, dude. He's great. He's
yeah,
fantastic.
yeah.
That's so cool.
Yeah, so the best part about the whole night was his buddies were there. So there was like 20 of us, and his few buddies that he's been friends with forever were there, and it's just kind of cool to see how they've just been friends their whole lives. And he was like, he was getting all like choked up and teary eyed, when he said his thanks at the end, and just like having everybody there, and you could tell his buddies were too a little bit. But it's just, I mean, like you and I will be one day, and all of our other close buddies. It's just like, it's crazy how the time goes. You got to have those like solid rock people in your life. So it was just kind of
Yeah,
cool to see that.
God, we're getting all emotional tonight. Holy fuck! But
I
dude,
know.
that's funny. That's funny you say that though. The apple doesn't fall far from the tree, huh? With the emotions.
Oh, dude, I'm almost crying right now. I mean, you know me. I watch my Hallmark movies all the time, and I'm crying. I'm a big
You're the most like you're the biggest teddy bear I know. It's so funny.
Yeah, for sure. So then I got one other thing here. All right, so did you ever get a or you know what? Let me ask you this first. Do you put styrofoam in your recycling bin, like your green recycling bin?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, you're not supposed to do that.
Why?
Dude, I come home. This is last week. Actually, it was last Wednesday because we record on Wednesdays, and that's my garbage or
Yep,
recycling
mine
night.
too.
So
Mine
yeah,
too.
so every night I try to do it before, but most of the time I'm lazy and I have to do it after we finish recording real quick. So I do it. I get everything out there yesterday. We had a ton of shit obviously from the holidays, so a ton of cardboard, ton of styrofoam, all this stuff. So most of it I got cut up and put in my recycling bin, but there was some, like a few big boxes that I'm like, I'm not cutting these up, I'm just going to put these on the side, and
Yeah, right.
they'll take them. They always do, no problem. So I get home. It was actually Friday. Everything was delayed a day because of New Year's. So
Because
I
the
get home
holiday.
on,
Right.
yeah. So I come home on Friday, and there's like what looks to be like a ticket or like a citation on my fucking green bin, and I'm like,
What?
what the hell is this? So I go over to it. Yeah, it's like a sticky. It's stuck to my box, and it says we picked up your stuff, but there's like check boxes. It's like, oh, we didn't take this because of the following, and it said styrofoam is not recyclable. And I'm like, in my head, I'm like, dude, I've been putting styrofoam in here for 5 years.
Dude, what? This is news to me.
Yes. So get this. That's not even the best part. So this happens. I'm like, okay, whatever. It's like, it tells you right on there, like, this is not a ticket. Like, we're just kind of letting you know, like, hey, don't do this again, or we
Yeah,
might
yeah.
not pick it up. I should have brought it out. I get a letter from the town of Cheektowaga 2 days ago, and it says, please, like, you received this violation, don't do it again. If you do, we're gonna take your bucket and you can buy another one for 75 bucks.
Holy shit. Holy shit.
And I'm like,
Damn.
who are these motherfuckers?
Dude, Cheek to Vegas sanitation is not fucking around with you.
But
Holy shit.
so I was amazed twice, because first I'm like amazed that styrofoam isn't recyclable. I thought it was. I figured we want to recycle that shit, because I assume we
It's
don't want that shit
reusable. I
just
mean, you
going in
could
the atmosphere, right? And
can't you
then
just like reuse and remake stuff out of it? Like, I don't, right? I don't
I
know.
I don't know, but to anyone
Dude,
listening
honestly,
out there,
dude.
do not put styrofoam in your recycling bin.
Well, okay. The thing about the recycling bin is that shit doesn't even get recycled. It just goes to like another landfill. I'm not even kidding.
Yeah, I mean, because like, so I read something where like if like the plastic that you're putting in there, if they're like sensors wherever they take it, like detect that it's like dirty at all, it's like useless. So they like separate. I don't know, but it's
That's wild though. That's pretty funny actually that you got slapped with a warning.
I couldn't believe it, dude. So now I'm like, shit. I'm like, I got to make sure all my cardboard's cut up real nice and stacked in them. Like, I don't want my bin taken away.
Well, damn, dude, that's pretty funny. I mean, I I think I'm still blown away that I thought that styrofoam was also recyclable.
I'm so glad you said that. That you also didn't
Dude,
know
these
because
one of your buddies from work or something is gonna tell you tomorrow, be like, "Are you fucking stupid? You thought that styrofoam was recyclable, you idiot."
all right, so talking about buddies from work, I'm gonna use that as a segue into the shout out section because I gotta shout out my buddy Joe that I work with because Joe just subscribed to our YouTube channel and he started listening to the show last week. So shout out Joe, just like
To shout out Joe.
hopping on the Sabres spotlight. This dude is so cool, dude. We call him Alaska Joe because he was up in Alaska for a few years. And my buddy
Damn.
Mike that I work with is going to be pissed that I'm shouting him out because they got a little rivalry. And me and Mike are like, we're like two peas in a pod. I love that dude too. But I got to give Joe a shout out because he subscribed to the YouTube channel. And everybody knows that's where it's at over there on
So
X.
like, I have a question about this little rivalry. So like, do they get together and be like, "Oh, Amy likes it when I stretch her leg out way better than when you stretch her leg out"?
No. So like, it's like a lighthearted thing. Like they like to give
Yeah,
each
I
other
get it.
shit. Like we
That's
all
funny.
give each other. It's not performance based.
I mean, that's kind of. I would be like, listen, do you know why she comes in to see me? It's because I put her body in the right positions, babe. That's why.
But both of those guys are just like they're cool guys. And dude, you are slamming that drink down, and I hear it in
I'm,
my
I'm,
headphones.
I'm sorry to the listeners, man. I got this cool new like, I don't know, this isn't even new. I just have this like koozie, metal koozie, and I'm just like hammering this beer because the Sabres make me want to drink. So just like talking about them, getting ready to talk about them, I just want to fuck up a couple brews. And I apologize for slamming this thing down. People are probably going to be so mad and like not even listen to the podcast because of that. But they all understand that the Sabres drive you to drink, man. They all understand.
Well, before we get into them and game reviews and whatnot, you got any shout outs?
You know what? I didn't until I saw that, Nick Saban retired. So I'm shouting out Nick Saban. Dude, all time, all time coach. All time college football coach. Probably the best ever. If it's all said and done. Hangs him up today. My wife, it's so funny because my wife like randomly started liking Alabama because it's for the funniest reason. It's because like she'll follow like the Alabama sororities on TikTok, and
I was gonna say it's from TikTok.
when they do the rushing and shit, dude, they take it seriously as fuck. It's insane.
What is
So this year
rushing?
it's when you like pledge to join a sorority, but you gotta like go through all these like trials and shit. I don't know. I wasn't in a
I thought you
frat
were gonna
or
say is when
any.
you like say where you're going, like, "Hi, my name's Jessica Anderson. I'm going to Alabama.
but
Go
no.
Tide."
So besides that, she got it. She's like, "Can we watch Bama?" And I'm like, "Yeah, this is sick. We're watching football together." So no, shout out Nick Saban on a great career. I got no like shout outs of my life, dude. I'm honestly, it's been like hectic in my life, just like not the most positive thing. So I'm not shouting out anything right now. We're just grinding. We're just grinding and doing the podcast, and that's about it.
Do you if Don Granado got fired tomorrow, would you hire Nick Saban to replace him?
Yeah. No, I would not. I would not. But I would pour one out for Don Renato. I would pour one out for him.
Well, we'll
Poor
get into
guy.
that in a little bit. I
Poor
got
fucking
one. I
guy.
got one last shout out real quick, and dude, I'm gonna shout out the Galleria Mall because I
Ew,
went.
why?
Dude, did I tell you this last week? Did we talk about? I think I talked about my mall experience, right?
Yeah, we
When I
did.
was, yeah. So I went shopping there a few weeks ago, and it when I was finishing up Katie's Christmas shopping and actually had like a good experience. So we went to the mall with the kids. So it was what day was it? It would have been Sunday. So we went Sunday because I told Katie, I'm like, listen, I'm like, last time I went, I'm like, it was actually nice, and I was there early. So we went there like right away when it opened. We got there at like 11, and we just walked around. I think I'm turned into a mall person, dude. We walked around for like 2 hours. We got some food in the food court. Oh no, no, we got
Dude,
Wetzel's pretzels, but then we just ate it at the food court.
dude. So the other day, I got the Japanese from the mall
Oh, dude, that's the
and
shit.
brought it home. Dude, it was so good. That shit
You
has
went there to bring
we
it home. I love it.
that place and the Chinese place have literally been there since we were kids, and
Yep.
it is like one of the only things that hasn't closed because they're just so
Yeah.
goddamn good. It's
Yeah.
insane.
Okay, so that's what we did. So we took a lap. So after we ate our Wetzel's pretzels, which by the way is like not nearly as good as Auntie Anne's. I have
No,
never
Auntie
been.
Anne's is the goat. If
Yeah,
I
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah,
want to
yeah.
meet her, Auntie Anne, that's my goat right there.
Yeah, Auntie Anne is sweet, at least until she's canceled with Aunt Jemima. But anyways, so we went to so we went to Wetzel's Pretzels, and yeah, not I got pizza, like pizza pretzels, and they were kind of mid, honestly. And so I told Katie got just like pretzel sticks, and they weren't bad, but Auntie Anne's definitely better. But we did a lap around the food court, and I just wanted to see, I'm like, what's still here that I remember, what's not, and of course the Japanese place and the Chinese place are still. I mean, those are goats. They're 100%
Dude,
goated.
they've just withstood the test of time. It's insane.
There's a
Like I
new
haven't stepped in
place,
the mall like for a while, and just seeing them two like still there, it's like wow, that's funny.
dude. Absolutely, and there is a new place right next to the Chinese place. Next time we go, I'm going there. It's like a waffle and crepes place. This
Oh,
menu,
interesting.
oh, dude, this menu was so good. They had like lunch style crepes, but then they also had like dessert style crepes and waffles. It looked good, but also talk about eye appeal. Like, oh, it pulled me in. The menu, very nice colors,
Well,
very
you know what's
eye
funny about
catching.
the crepes? We got to get into Saber talk soon because I'm sure
Oh,
we're
the
being shut off.
crepes. Oh, the crepes.
But dude, so there's a place kind of where I deliver. It's across from UB North. No, UB South, I mean. And it's called Holy Crepe. You
That's a
would
good
love it.
name.
You would love it.
Well, if we want to talk about the Sabres real quick, I mean, I would never buy crepes from the Sabres. They had them for like $20. I was like,
No,
all
they'd
right,
probably poison them or some shit.
all right.
Or
So,
they'd be or they'd be $400.
well, let's get into the Sabres then. Anything you want to start with? Do we want to do game recaps? Do you just want to talk about like discussion points? Like, where do you want to take it?
We can talk about the individual games, but first I want to just like the fact that the season is over basically, like it makes watching almost like a chore for me at least. I don't know how you feel. But like watching, I'm like, well, I want to see my team play well. But when they don't play well, it's like the end of the world because every loss just pushes them further back. And we
Mm-hmm.
all know that they need to go on like a massive win streak, just like Seattle did. Seattle just won their eighth straight against us. Eighth straight total. That was their eighth win in a row, and yesterday against the Sabres, and they turned their whole season around. And we need something like that. But like, I just like 0% of me believes that this team is capable of doing that. So just watching lately has kind of been like a little bit like sad. Just like it's like how did we get here? You know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel that 100%. I mean, last show you asked me like how many wins would it take to kind of get reinvigorated like in a row, right? And I said eight, and I think like that's the problem that we're having here. And you hear the boos and stuff, and it's such a tough spot because last year they went on this like great run and they finished with the 91 points kind of out of nowhere. Like everyone expected them to be a little bit better, but they just went off last year, almost made the playoffs. So then this year is the expectation year, and it seems like and it feels like this team went from like the darlings of Buffalo to like almost like the villains, because it was like we felt like it was right there and this was the team that was going to do it, and then it felt now it's kind of like ripped, like they ripped the rug out from underneath us, and like the fans are so pissed off about it. So it feels like there's this chasm where like unless they go on this big run and like get that invigoration of the fan base, they're just going to continue getting booed because they've dug themselves in too much of a hole and everyone knows the season's over. So it's just like it's a really tough spot right now. Every loss just feels like the end of the world because of that.
Yeah, I agree, dude. And like the thing about it now is that if we want to talk about something a little different, the fact that national media is picking up on how disappointing the Sabres are this year. I mean, I've read many an article this year from, name a person in the hockey media that's like, who are like the three disappointing teams, three most disappointing team in the league, and we're like in that pile, like, from everyone. And now all of our stuff is kind of like getting scrutinized. Like today on the Jeff Merrick show, Jeff Merrick of Sportsnet was talking about how the Sabres have handled Devin Levi, arguing that, like, like exactly everything that we said about goaltending development, how he needs to be in the AHL, and his quotes that were, I listened to the episode. I think he went a little bit overboard, but I mean, I kind of like that he was little bit hyperbolic, just because I feel like the organization needs to hear from a person with a voice. I mean, Jeff Merrick is one of the biggest voices in hockey, one of the biggest voices in junior hockey. He's plugged in, he knows what he's talking about. But I'll read you some quotes. He said, regarding Devin Levi, quit trying to make this work. It's not going to, and this team is not going anywhere. All you're going to do is wreck this goalie. I don't know that there's another general manager that would let this continue to happen. I've had conversations with other teams about what are they doing with Devin Levi? What are they thinking? They're not going through any sort of traditional development model. You know who goes right from college to the NHL and stays there? Nobody does that. Not at that position. So, dude, those are some scathing remarks, and they're true. I just don't understand what we're trying to do, and I get that Levi has been good some nights. He's been pretty good, but then he has the nights like yesterday where I would argue that he is the sole reason why we lost the game.
I mean, I don't disagree. So this is tough for me because I I I kind of think Levi should be up here, honestly. Like, and I'll tell you my thought process because when he got sent down, we had a show obviously that week, and this was like whatever it was a month ago, and it was kind of like okay, like this is probably good for him because it is a more traditional development path. I think even then I was saying, like I understand why they're doing it, but I wish he was just up here just because why not? Like whatever. I know it's not, but if he is this difference maker, like maybe he can be the pioneer. I don't know. Like I don't feel like I don't feel like that can't be possible if I'm being totally honest. But the problem I had with this is like you said, like the goalie position this year, I mean, you've seen it's just been absolutely crazy. Like, aside from the elite goalies, like goaltending is just a shit show. Like,
Yep.
it's just one of those
Across the entire
positions.
league.
Yeah. So, like, what's not to say that like if Levi goes on this traditional model and comes up and has a great year, right? And then everyone's like, oh, see, this is what they should have done. Well, like, what's stopping him from just being shitty the next year, like all these other goalies? You know what I mean?
I
So
agree with you.
it's a position that's tough because then I look at, like, you say, like, okay, like, to your point, he hasn't been that bad. So the league average save percentage right now is 898. And Levi's at 889. That's 0.009 off of league average. I agree we've lost some games because of him, but we've also won some games from him. So it's like, what's with this year that's a broken year? What's the
I agree.
alternative? I think more of the problem is that we haven't had a veteran goalie to be there for him. Like UPL is not there. I would have rather had, if you're going to stick with Levi this year, then you should have gone out and got a goalie that can teach him how to handle the NHL, that can be more of an influence in that first year. So you get more out of that first year than just experience. You kind of learn more about the game. It's not going to happen with Levi and Comrie. It's just not, or with UPL and Comrie. It's just not.
Yeah, I also like I agree with you. I brought that up just because of, that situation specifically getting national attention. But Levi is probably like if you had to like rank our problems on a team, I think Levi is like so far down the list that it's almost like irrelevant.
Yeah.
The whole team is broken, like in general. We're not gonna do we're you know we're gonna run a, like a little pass fail next week, and that'll be really fun because I want to talk in specifics about certain players and why exactly they're disappointing me or playing well. But just to point out a couple, I mean, we're going absolutely nowhere if Rasmus Dahlin has regressed to every year before last year. Like last year, he was incredible, almost all season until he got injured at the end. He was incredible. This year, he looks like a completely different player. Dylan Cousins, I have it right here. Dylan Cousins is on pace for like 16 goals, dude.
Yeah.
Dylan
It's
Cousins,
bad.
30-goal scorer. Jeff Skinner's hurt again. Tuck was hurt for a while. He has also part hasn't really been that great. He could have buried a shorthanded goal yesterday, and he didn't. Tage Thompson has been in and out of the lineup, injured, and when he's healthy, he's been great. But when he's not healthy, he's also not playing well. So like the season as a whole, I don't think that like Devin Levi specifically like is that much of a problem. It's more or less just like everything is a problem. Like the whole sum is a problem right now.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's part of the part of me why, or that's part of why I'm not. I don't care if Levi stays up or not. Like it. Listen, like he's so far down the list on like problems of this team that like it's not going to make a difference whether he stays or not. So you might as well just keep him up. Like whatever, it doesn't really matter. They don't play defense in Rochester either, so like it's not like he's getting a ton of help down there. He's going to see as
Yeah, I
many
mean the
shots.
AHL is chaotic as it is. The
Yeah.
AHL is so chaotic. Like another while you were actually talking and like you're kind of swaying me, just because like he is facing NHL level shooters every single night. I mean, so that's kind of a good thing, I
Mhm.
guess. If he's gonna, I mean, he's gonna be up here. There's no, he's not going back down. I mean, they already waived Comrie. That shit's over with. So we're stuck. We're stuck with him right now, like
Yeah,
this.
and here's the thing. Like another reason I was thinking too is because like if this season is going nowhere, that and in reality, that's the best time to have him up. Like you wouldn't want him up if you're serious. Well, I mean, I know they were, but like that's gone now. But like if they were in a serious playoff run and Levi was costing you some games, like okay, that's when you're trying to make a trade and find some more consistency or ride the hot goalie stuff like that. Part of the problem is that they don't play these guys enough to get hot and stay hot. They're flip flopping every night. But also, like I feel like I know that it's different sports, but it's thinking like in as far as like football goes, like what do you want to see from a rookie on a football field? Like you just want to see flashes. Like if you see flashes, like okay, this guy can do it. Like we know he can do it. Like he doesn't have to come in and just be this all-star goalie right away, but you've seen the flashes, so like you know he can do it. He's only going to keep getting better and better. I guess there's the argument for shattering his confidence, but I honestly don't think that's going to happen. I just at this point, I just want him to get, I just want him to get as much experience. Like there's no pressure on this season anymore. Like the expectations realistically can't be to make the playoffs. It's just not going to happen this year. So just let him face shots. Like you said, those other guys are costing us much more than him. And a lot of the shots that he's given up, I mean, Darlene was it a direct reason why they had one of those breakaways the other night. Like these other guys are playing shitty in front of him. It's not just him.
Right. Yeah. I mean, Darlene in particular just is so frustrating. Like I don't know what is going on. Like he was so good, man. I really don't have an explanation for like what has gotten into him because his entire game is bad right now. It is not good. He's not winning board battles. He he's not really driving offense either, which is weird
No.
because he was like one of the best offensive drivers in the whole league last year.
Mm-hmm.
And when he's got a guy like when he's got like room to skate, he's either not taking it or he's like getting the puck stripped off him. So man, it really like that's the thing that scares me the most because of like if he doesn't like turn it around like his if he even into next year like this year's a wash. If he plays like this, I honestly think we might be toast.
All right, ready for this? I totally agree with you, and I want to ask you some more questions on that in a second, and why he might be struggling. But these are his 2023 stats. All right, what's you know what? Hang on, let me look at this for 1 second because granted, we just gave him that deal, but at least for this year, I mean, so he's only make he only, but like he's making 6 million this year. Like the big bucks kick in next year. Like he's technically only $6 million this year, and he's $11 million beyond this. But even at $6 million, so he's 70 tied for 79th in goals in the league. I guess this is not. I mean, this is overall. He is first in defenseman. I get that, but this is
Yeah, but he's
overall.
getting so many empty netters, dude.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
many
he's
empty.
had five, I think. So like again, like but tied for
Yeah.
79th in goals, tied for 68th in assists, and tied for 69 in points. He's I know he's a defenseman, but he's also a point in an offensive defenseman. That's you pay him $11 million, not just to keep pucks out of your net, but to also drive offense. So like it's just not acceptable. And why I don't know. I'm just curious, like why is there a dip in play? Because to me, it seems like he obviously he's frustrated. I mean, he smashed his stick, last game, and he's done that a few times this season. The team, I don't know. It to me, I just wonder if he's like bought in or whatnot. I think he wants to get the puck and go, but we have this dumbass system where our D men get the puck, and then like you mentioned last episode, there's just like nobody going up the ice together. It's just three guys standing somewhere by the opposing blue line, just like waiting there for a long pass. That like, what's the
Did you happen to
chances of that
see
actually connecting?
did you happen to see some of the clips and some of like the still images that were circulating Twitter the other day after our game yesterday after our game?
No, I think I just saw one of just like our D men getting the puck and look and this like another Saber like wasn't even in the picture because they were so far
Yeah,
up the
dude,
ice.
that happens a lot. Like yesterday in the first period, I feel like they were breaking up the ice like as a team. And then yeah, that happened a lot where like the camera will be on like the two D men, like whatever. Got the puck on the right side, you got your left man, like your left shot defenseman, just like on the other side of the line in case they got to pass to him. And then there are no forwards around. Like there's no, there's no partially. Like I honestly, you talking now, man, you're really like influencing me tonight. Jesus Christ, you're like, where the fuck is Dowling gonna go with the puck?
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
these guys are struggling because they have no outlets.
There's
I don't
nothing.
understand. I don't understand what our goal is through the neutral zone, like at all.
Yeah, I'm gonna make it a goal to so the Saber Report, previously the Royal Report, so they their YouTube channel every year. Oh, I think every year. I know they did it last year, and I have it right here. So um, 6 months ago. So it's 28 minutes. Rasmus Dahlin 2022-2023 season highlights. I'm just one day it's 28 minutes. I'm just gonna go back and watch that because I guarantee the clips that I see in there are not at all the style that we're playing right now. And what reminds me of like a perfect example of this is I was at that Columbus game when we got shellacked 9-4. Darlene scored the first goal in that game 30 seconds in, and it was beautiful. He got the puck, he brought up the ice, he just tipped it into the blue line. He gets a quick pass back, drives right up the center in the slot, and then just houses it top shelf. And it's like that's the kind of stuff that we need. Like get him skating, get him creating. There's just there's just nothing. There's just nothing going up the ice right now. And for a guy like him, I mean, you're just underutilizing his assets so much. I don't understand it. I don't think he's playing hurt. I just think it's just sloppy offensive gameplay, to be
Yeah.
honest, and just lack of game planning.
Do you think that Do you think that some of the players have lost belief in the coach, and that's kind of why they're struggling? Because
Absolutely.
they're trying, obviously, but like I think deep down they know that like they're not being set up to win the game.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and we can get into this right now. But you know what? Before we do that, I want to just touch because you mentioned or Thompson and Tuck and all those guys. Like that's a big issue. Like those guys are not performing. Thompson's really gotta step up his game, and Tuck and all those guys. Like they're not. And Thompson's supposedly healthy right now, but he's still again another guy that just looks slower and just less. I mean, where are all the highlight goals from Tage? You're meaning to tell me that that's just gone? It's not
Yeah, no.
gone. It's just that there's just less drivable offense. It's just dump and chase, and it's just these long passes that aren't going to get connected. It's just you can't create offense when there's not a system in place, and there's absolutely no system in place, and that leads me back to Don. And I was frustrated with his comments after the last game. I have a couple of things because I listened to his interview today. So he was asked after last game about his decision to bench or not bench, but to move Thompson from the top line to whatever line it was, the third line, I believe. He switched, yeah, he switched Casey and Thompson. So I just and his answer was because it was appropriate, and we found out later that from Mike Harrington on Twitter that apparently it was because he didn't like one of the turnovers like early in the
Yeah,
game.
it was early. Like Tage like kind of fell at the blue line and turned the puck over at the blue line.
Yeah. So okay, first off, like, do you really need to demote a guy 5 minutes into a game for just like one sloppy play, especially
No.
Tage Thompson? Right? Do you need to make that decision? And also, like, if that was the reason, then fucking tell me, Don. Like, give me that answer in the press conference. Don't just skirt around. And I don't think he was skirting around it. I just don't think he knew. It's just he doesn't know how to answer these questions. There's no strategy. I mean, a simple question like today, I watched his presser and they asked him about when they gave Alex Tuck the A for whatever game it was. I don't even know if he's still wearing it or not. And they asked him
Yeah, it's
about
because
it.
Oposo's out, so they're going with like multiple assistants.
Yeah, and so they asked him about it. Oh, what went through your decision making and that, and he just it essentially boiled down to the same thing. He just said, oh, he we felt like it was appropriate and he deserves it. And I'm thinking to myself, I'm like, this is a perfect opportunity to hype your guy up. Like, I want to know, like, oh, he's first one in the building every day. He stays like he's working with this guy doing this, and it's like in his head again, I'm sure there's specifics there, but he can't think of it because he's so scatterbrained right now. Like, you cannot convince me that this is not a man who is focused and who is not thinking about every day I'm going to lose my job and he's kind of going off the rails. Like, he doesn't know how to answer, and they're not even hard questions. He's not being grilled like he's fucking in Toronto. Like, I'm not. I'm out on Granado, man. He's unfortunately got to go.
Dude, hockey coaches get recycled like it's our local recycling once a week. So fuck, they're not getting rid of him in season, which is so unfortunate. Like they're pretty much just saying that the season's over because they're gonna ride it out with him, and they're gonna ride it out with the staff. And you just gotta kind of hope that the players like transcend everything that's going on. And I don't know where we go like from here. I'm so down. Like even when we play well, I'm like, well, we gotta jump over 7 teams to get like even close to a playoff spot. And if we're not gonna fight for a playoff spot, then what's the point of watching? You
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, I mean, they're accepting mediocrity at this point, and
And
what
even if like
message
they're
is
not
that
gonna
setting
fire
to
the
the
coach,
guys?
like they're not firing the coach. They're just
No, they're
not.
not. No, they're not going to fire
And
the coach.
if he goes in the next season, I won't even know what to do. Like you got to think. So I was thinking about this. When they do exit meetings, in the like when the season's over, they're gonna do exit meetings each player, and Kevin's gonna ask them like, "Hey, like, what do you think about the season?" I would really be willing to guess that they would never come out and say it themselves, like in the public, but I'd be willing to guess that some of the players are gonna say, "We cannot play for this coach anymore."
Yeah,
And then what do you think Kevin says to them? Because you've seen what he says when a player criticizes how the team plays. When Dylan Cousins said that they're soft, he criticized Dylan Cousins. He didn't
hmm
agree with him. He said, we got a lot of hardworking guys in that room. Buddy, this is the National Hockey League. Like, you got to hurt some feelings
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah,
If your players are your play the players are the team that like the players are the thing that makes it go. Like the coaches can fuck off. Like the players are the ones that are doing the work on the ice. Like I don't care that they're good people. Like I actually I take it back. I do care that they're good people. That's great. But if they're not getting everything out of your guys, and the guys that you're paying, $7 million a year, $8 million a year, $11 million a year, if those guys are not going to go to bat for them, you got to do something about it.
Yeah, I think if they, I fully believe if the Sabres made a change at head coach 2 weeks ago, they might still have a chance to make the playoffs this season.
Yeah,
Because when you
I
make,
kind of agree.
yeah, when you make a head coaching change, you get a bump. You just do. It's proven. And when you look at the Sabres players, like all these guys we're saying have regressed and aren't playing as well. If it's one guy, it's probably that guy. Like if it's just Darlene that's playing bad, like it's probably him. Like what's he doing wrong or is he playing injured? When it's Thompson, Tuck, Cousins, Darlene, Power, when it's essentially your whole team,
The whole
that
core. It's not like
yeah,
not even the shit guy. It's not even the shit players. It's
exactly.
the core.
It's your core that yeah, when it's everybody, that's the coach. It just is. It's people say it's so easy to blame the head coach, but like you can't just have all these guys playing bad and not just underperforming. Like they're all playing bad hockey. Like it's just it's not possible for it to just be these guys all suck now. Like they're good players, and I fully believe that if they would have made a change at head coach 2 weeks ago, they'd probably be 4 points out of a playoff spot right now because they're only like 7 points out right now. How somehow it's like, I mean, it's out of question, but it's like it's crazy that they're even like somewhat close.
Like we
They'd
say
be
every
there. They'd
week,
be there.
one 7 game win streak changes everything.
Yep. Yeah, and you have the players to do it. You have the players to do it. You it's so frustrating. It's so frustrating. I think that they have blinders on when it comes to Don and Kevin Adams is not gonna he's not gonna make a bold move and he's not gonna criticize guys and it's just it's not a good situation right now
Uh,
and clearly
I
the
have a,
players are feeling that.
I have a question to pose to you. How long of a leash does Kevin Adams have in your eyes? I think realistically he's not going anywhere. But if you go down the list of guys that he has specifically brought in, it's not great, dude. It's not.
Mm-mm, mm-mm.
So
Who makes that
what do you?
decision? I mean, like who fires him? Terry.
The owner, yeah, Terry.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I don't know. I that's the other part is that how much does Terry give a shit?
I think he does. I think he's just clueless. I
Yeah.
think he really cares. I really do. I really think he cares. I think he just is so, as like the owner of the team, I think he's just completely out of answers. And he's relying on the guys that he hired to fix it. But I'm starting to believe that like they just don't have the correct direction. And it's very scary to think about that because I think our analytics staff is one of the best in the league. I just don't think they're being listened to. Like the names that are on the staff are names in the analytics community. Terry Pagula has shelled out the money for these guys. Like I bet they're being paid handsomely compared to like other analytics staffs across the league. The problem is you got your coach who has the final decision, and the analytic can tell you that Darlene Samuelson doesn't work, but this guy is going back to Darlene Samuelson every fucking game.
Hmm.
So they're just not being listened to. Like that's just one example, but there's plenty more where it's like, hey, the numbers are telling you like this group of players work together well, and this group of players don't. And every time he's going back to the well with the same lineup, the same group and the same strategy, and it's just like not working. So someone's not listening to someone. Someone has more authority than someone else, and I'm just unsure in the front office, like where exactly like the buck stop. I mean, the buck stops with Kevin overall, but do you think he like? Do you think he knows? Do you think he knows that he fucked up, or
Kevin.
do you think he's yeah? Or do you think he's like, hey, they're young, they'll play themselves out of it? Because if it's the latter, then that's very scary to me.
I think he is afraid to make a mistake, and and unfortunately, that's led to where we are today. Lack of moves, and I think he's just counting on these young players to come up and for them all to work out and for them all to be good. And that is 100% a mistake. So I don't know. I'd like to say he doesn't have leash beyond this season, but I don't know. Ultimately, I don't know if that's true because I don't know if Terry's going to make that move. Like I think at the end of the season, I think you can say, I mean, I'd like to say that Don's done after this year. Like I feel like that should be pretty much all but written in pen now for the most
Yep.
part. But I don't know. I think that if you're Kevin Adams, like you can probably convince Terry that like, hey, we've built up this good farm system. Look where it's rated. These kids are going to come up, and you could probably talk yourself into another year. If we had an owner though that was like more involved and like you said, more aware of the situations, then I'd like to think that like if Adams doesn't make a couple like at least one splash move or like a couple moves to like really improve the roster this year, then he's done at the end of the year. Like as an owner, I'd want to see, hey, show me that you can get this done. Show me that you can make a move. I don't think Terry has that thirst to do that, or he is demanding that of Kevin. I don't know. So I guess that
Yeah.
would be. I guess that's my answer. And the fact that there's no clear answer is just the problem because there's no clear direction for where we're going. I mean, we have all these prospects and we haven't dealt any. I've seen so many trade proposals on Twitter of like our top prospects, like a couple of our top, and at the end, and I think about the guys we have now, and I'm kind of like, yeah, do it. Like, I'm totally fine trading Matt Savoy somewhere. I really am. Like, if you're gonna get a good piece
Me
back,
too. I am
trade
too.
Savoy, honestly. Like, or trade Isaac
Yeah.
Rosine. Like, I like these players, but like, there's no saying they're gonna come up and just be great. I mean, let them go. Let
I'd
them
even
go.
trade Yuri Kulik. I'd even be open to trading Yuri Kulik in the right deal.
Absolutely, absolutely. Like, I don't think Kevin's gonna do that because again, I just think he's scared of being wrong, and that's the wrong mindset. You'll never get
And he
anywhere.
and I gotta be honest, I don't even care if he's like quote unquote wrong. Like if Yuri Kulik comes like up into the NHL and becomes a 20 goal scorer, like I mean, and eventually like 2 3 years from now he's like a 30 goal scorer. I don't care. I
Yeah.
really don't. Like, get me someone who can like help me now.
Hmm.
Like it's not. I can't wait for this kid. I cannot. I can't wait for these kids anymore. Like
Yeah, because
we've
what
been
would you
going
rather
like
have? Like the Sabres break the streak finally,
or
or the
or
drought
one
continues for
or like
5 years, but we have Yuri Kulik who scores 150 goals in 5 years. Like, okay, who the fuck cares? Like, I'm not
yeah.
buying a Yuri Kulik jersey because he scores, but we still suck.
Yeah,
It
there.
just doesn't make
That's the
any
whole
sense.
problem. That's the whole problem right there, man. That's like it boils down to that. Like I love these kids. I think they're great. They're fun. They're awesome. They're great to watch. And shout out. Um, Noah Oslin had an incredible World Junior, but I feel like we've had a prospect have an incredible World Junior for the past 5 fucking seasons, and I'm starting not to care about that anymore. Just deal one of them. Like I don't even think you got to go scorched earth and deal like 3 or 4 like of our guys. Just take one. One of them plus a pick will get you something good.
Yep.
Someone good.
Yeah. Yeah. At least like just show us that you have a pulse, but not a pulse to make a move. Like like make a decent move, like you said. Like it doesn't have to be Pedersen. It doesn't have to be a top guy. Like just just do something. Like something that's a good move. Like I
I've
don't
got
know.
another question for you. So Casey Middlestat's an RFA this year. Would you trade Casey Middlestat? I believe he might be our number one trade piece because he's good.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Would I trade him? I mean, if that's what you have to do to get something done, then sure. I mean,
If you if you
you already identified your core, right? And I think they've done that correctly. Like I feel kind of okay with our core. As shitty as they're playing this season, I think that's more of a system thing in the head coach than the actual players. So like, yeah, I mean, I'd love to re-sign him, but then again, like, but that's one of those things too. Like, if you re-sign him, okay, like you're bringing back the same players, right? Like nothing's changing. So if nothing's changing, something has to change. So then obviously it has to be the head coach. So
yeah.
if you're bringing back Casey, then the coach has to change.
Well, I bring that up because he's going to get a deal,
Yeah.
and giving another forward another long-term deal kind of doesn't really make a whole lot of sense to me. And I love Casey Middlestat. Like I'm if he were to be here, I think he would be my next jersey purchase just because he like saw through all the shit and like he is good. But we got to get like a different type of player. Like our team, the problem on our team is that we have the same type of player on all three lines, and not enough diversity, not enough like guys that can defend on the back end. Like we got a lot like we brought in Eric Johnson to defend. Eric Johnson's cooked. Like sorry, he
That
just is.
motherfucker is so slow. Oh my
Just
god, dude, he
cooked.
is so slow.
I if I think that in terms of untouchables total on the roster, I think I might have two. Like Tage and Darlene are and well three include Power. The rest of them in the right deal, dude, in the right one for one, I think I would trade almost any of them. I mean, you could talk me into Paterka, Quinn. Well, Quinn. Okay, I might have more than two. I might have more than two. But a lot of guys on the I got a lot of guys on the roster. You could convince me that you can move them and be totally fine or come out ahead.
Casey's center, right? I mean, he's playing center
Yeah,
essentially.
yeah, and he's gonna get paid. Like, there's no doubt he's gonna get paid. But I don't know if number one, I don't know in his head what he's thinking. Like, if I was him, I'd be like, I am not resigning. Like, I'm doing exactly what Sam Reinhart did, and I'm gonna tell you that, hey, I'll sign my 1 year deal, my 1 year RFA deal, and I'll fuck off to free agency next year. So, that's me in my head. If I'm Casey, that's what I'm doing. Sorry, guys. Like, you guys had your chance. I've been here for 7 years.
It's I guess it's hard for me to say. I don't know because I think I feel like I was pumping the tires last show for us to re-sign him. So
I,
yeah, I don't.
I'm open to it, no doubt. But
So
I
I
also
guess it
think he might
depends.
be our number one trade piece because he's the best player, the best young player that's not under contract to trade.
Yeah, and yeah, and I think like you said, it speaks to the point that we're trying to make of like make a move and don't be afraid to use guys like in some of your best guys if you need to make a move. So like I guess it's like if he's staying on if they end up re-signing him, he's gonna demand some money. Obviously, he's having a good year. I mean, he probably should have been an all-star in all honesty.
Yeah, he should be our
Ahead of
all star, not Darlene. I'm
exactly, yeah,
dying on
ahead of
that hill.
Darlene. Yeah, I was just gonna say that for sure. So like, okay, so you got, I mean, Tage is obviously, um, well, Tage is playing center, right? I
Yep,
get confused sometimes. So you Tage is your top one or two line
you're
centers,
number
right?
one. Yep. Then you got
Number one,
Cousins
sure.
underneath him.
So and they're both making seven.
Yep.
So as a, I mean, what I don't know. I'm asking you, I guess. What is how much do third line centers make if you're going to pay Casey? Like, is 6 million
Well,
like
here's the
reasonable for a
problem.
third line center?
Yeah, no, it's not.
I
Like,
didn't.
here's
I
the
wouldn't think
problem.
so.
Here's the problem. Casey Middlestat has outplayed both Tage Thompson and Dylan
Absolutely, I
Cousins this
know. I
year.
know.
And I feel like in his head he feels the same way.
Hmm.
I don't think he's going to be like, yeah, I'll stay here and I'll play third line minutes when I can go somewhere and be someone's 2C and potentially like, make the fucking playoffs for the first time in my career.
Yeah.
So, yeah, no, I would be open to if he wants to stay, fuck, yeah, that's great. We'll pay you $6 million to play on our third line. I guess it's an overpayment for like that type of player or that like slotted forward on the roster, but he's so good that I'm like talking out of both sides of my mouth here because like I would love to keep him, but at the same time it's like, well, other teams got to value him too. So
So I
I
think
don't know.
that's where Kevin, because I know I'm sure Bean does this all the time with the Bills, and Bean is an absolute phenom. Like that dude's just a master, just a wizard. I feel like if you're Kevin Adams, that's where you sit down with Casey and just like and his agent, whatever, and just have a conversation. Say, listen, this is what I'll do for you. This is where I'm valuing you. If you want to accept this deal for X amount of years, then let's do it. If he's gonna sit there and say you're not, then I'm having the conversation. Okay, well we might explore a trade then, and what are your no trade options? I'm sure they already have that, but that's the conversation I'm having then. And then he's not blindsided if they get a trade. Like, okay, I'm sure he doesn't have a no trade clause. I don't actually know that or not, but like
He
That's
doesn't.
where so that's where I'm just saying like, okay, listen, Casey, like this is what we'll do. This is what I'm offering you. This is what I'm willing to. But if not, then we might look to trade you or just let you go at the end of the year, like whatever it is. So
And if you trade a big player like that, like he is popular, like he is very close with all of the big guns on the team. A trade like that would definitely just like send shockwaves throughout the room, in my opinion.
yeah, well, we said that weeks ago, man. Like, listen, like make a trade, like trade a guy to show you that, like, listen, we're not here to just coast. And I think we brought up Samuelson back then as the same type of player, someone who's not just a low salary player, or you don't even know if they're part of the future, like same type of impact, with that type of move. Yeah, I mean, there's just been nothing, and I don't expect anything. I don't know, man. I mean, I feel like Kevin Adams thought Patrick Kane would have been his big fish, and that didn't work out. And now he's like, all right, well, I got the same guys because that's what I wanted, and they're all underperforming, and look where we are. So
Yeah,
what can you do?
I don't really think there's much else to say. I think we summed it up pretty well, dude.
Yeah, I
It's
don't
just
have anything else.
it's frustrating to sit here and talk about like trading a guy that I like, but the benefits like might outweigh the negatives.
Yeah,
Even a guy like Alex Tuck. Alex Tuck has 2 years left on his deal. He's gonna get paid, and I prefer him to get paid by us. But
but he's not indispensable. Like that's another guy. Like I'd be
exactly,
open to trading Alex Tuck too.
yeah, he's not indispensable. The only reason I think he might be like close to untradeable for us is because he was the first guy to say, "I want to play for the Buffalo Sabres. I am gonna turn this around." Like I think around the league, if we did trade a guy like Alex Tuck, players would be like, "Well, fuck that." Like the one guy that actually wanted to play for you, you shipped him out. Like some. I don't think it would go well. But just as an example of like where our heads are at, like
But
you're
I
not
want a
safe.
GM who would do that.
Yeah, you're not safe here either, bud.
Exactly. Like I want that ruthless GM who would do that because that's what you need. You need that, and you need that in a coach. And the one thing the Sabres definitely need is more. Like they need more grit in their lineup. Like
I know
they
it's
don't
it's
need.
so boomer to say it, but it's so true.
It is true. It is true. Like they don't need. Like honestly, they don't need an Eric Johnson. Like if they need 18 vets to teach them how to win, that's a problem. Like who is there to teach you how to win? Your head coach teaches you how to win, and maybe a couple vets on the team that have done it. Like I don't know. Like I don't need 18 vets in the room teaching these guys how to win or play defense. Like at this point, they're just hurting us.
Yeah, I
So,
need a system change and I need a guy that can win a puck battle and break the zone cleanly because they're at their worst when like they get the puck and they have no clue what to do with it. And then it ends up being like consistent pressure in our own zone and then it's a goal and it's like, well, fuck. Well, here we go again.
yeah, yeah, they just don't have any like dickheads on their team. Like, do you think anyone's actually like walking into Granato's office and just telling him like, dude, like, what are you doing? Like, this is not
No, I
working.
don't.
Like,
And other teams do. And I'm
yep,
jealous of those teams.
yeah, yeah, and you need that, and yeah, that's all right. I mean,
Let's be
I don't
done with
got
Sabres talk. Let's be done with
yeah,
Sabres talk. It's really like God, that was like a really nice vent session though. We kind of hit a
yeah,
lot of angles.
yeah. Let's move on from them. There's only so much you can say
We
at
got
this
a
point in
uh,
time.
we got a Casey conundrum on our hands.
Yeah, for real, for real. All right, what do we want to do? We want to do goofballs.
Let's run Amerks real quick. How they doing?
All right, so Amherst were so we said last week they were going to have two games. So they had the home and home against the Cleveland Monsters. They were 1-1, which is actually not bad because Cleveland is one of the top teams in the AHL. So they had a nice 3-1 win at home, which was Comrie's first game in Rochester, and he was great. He got the first star in that game, so he stopped 33 of 34 shots. And I watched that game. I mean, he played good, but I mean, there you can like it's not like there was like a ton of high danger chances from Cleveland that game. Like he definitely had his nice saves, and you're not gonna stop 33 shots without seeing some high danger chances. But again, we'll see how he continues to play. I think he'll probably play good down there. It is a tier below the NHL, obviously, but again, it wasn't like he had miraculous saves, but he was just solid in that, which is which is what they need. And then they lose 6-5 in Cleveland, and that was kind of a crazy game. It was just back and forth, and Tokarski was in net for that game. I want to just give stats real quick because we mentioned this quick last time. Like the goalies in Rochester, they're just like so bad. So like Tokarski is like allowing 3.5 goals against. He's got a .888 save percentage, and then Cooley is allowing 3.72 goals against with
Holy fuck.
.892. Yeah, so like that's what they're dealing with right now, like in Rochester, and we've already mentioned like it's not like there's a ton of defense in that league, so like you're facing a ton of shots and they're not real strong in net. So Comrie should provide them with some stability down there, and you could tell he's definitely disappointed to be down there. Like even in his post game presser, it felt like he took almost a couple shots at the Sabres and was like, he was asked about Yost and Bryson, and he was saying, "Oh, those guys are NHLers and they should definitely be up." We're kind of confused as to why they're down here, and which I'm like, whatever.
Well,
Jost
I
has
mean,
had
they
enough.
suck, so shut
Yeah,
up,
like
Eric.
I mean, Jost has had enough opportunities, and like Bryson, come on,
Yeah,
it's
Bryson,
fucking
come on.
Jacob Bryson.
Bryson played what, one game?
Yeah. Like, there's a reason you're down there too, buddy. Like, just like, all right, just like get yourself right and maybe get another shot next year. But yeah, I mean, quick shout out because he did play good in that game. But yeah, 1-1 since we played. They've only had a couple games, so they've been kind of like status quo. I don't think they've shifted much in the standings. We'll obviously update you next week as we go. But
Yeah.
that's where they're at right now.
Well,
But
shout out,
yeah.
shout out to Yuri Kulik and Izak Rosen. They were both named to the AHL All Star team, so that's a lot of fun for them.
Yeah, that's cool. I wonder if we'll be able to get that with the HLTV. If
Yeah,
we'll be able to
hope
watch
I
that.
think so. I think
Yeah.
so. They do. I think it's like it's pretty fun. It's like the same thing as the NHL one, but like harder shot, all that shit. So it's pretty fun.
Yeah. So, yeah, they're our top 2 point getters, this season, and they're obviously, I mean, they're line mates when they're together, so they've been cooking down there, and I feel like some of the defensemen have actually been playing quite good down there. Zach Metzger had a couple goals the other day. I feel like he's been looking pretty nice, and then
Well,
uh,
dude, Zach Metz is such a trooper. Like the Amerks were so decimated by injury that Metza was actually playing center for a while.
yeah.
And like, what a trooper, man! Not playing your not natural position and just like going right back to defense and producing again is great to see. Like, good for him. Like, I hope he's kind of a guy that like somehow sneaks his way into the NHL at one point as like a sixth defenseman, because that would be a great story. Because he's been pretty good for the Amerks like since he got there last year.
So here's just a random question when we're talking about the Amherst now. So like,
Yeah.
take a team like Boston, right? The Bruins.
Yep.
You're gonna know much more around the league than me. Like their third and fourth lines. Who's on their lines? Like,
Oh, just
are they like
no.
studs, or are they prospects who come up and just play better because they have a better system, or are they just like guys who have been around but they have a good system and coach in place? Like, I guess like why is everyone so much more successful elsewhere than here? Like, what are these bottom lines looking like?
Well, I mean, for just like AHL in general, like the bottom lines are like not great, really. So it's not like the Bruins are like churning out prospects either. Like the reason the Bruins are good is because they get guys to come play there and they make trades. Like they traded for all these guys they have. Like it's not like one of their only prospects recently, uh, like in terms of this year that have come up and played really well was Matthew Poitras, and they just sent him back to junior and played in the World Junior Tournament, and now he's back in the NHL. So it's not like these guys are like these successful NHL teams are churning out prospects in the AHL and then coming up here and dominating. Like
How about the Rangers?
same thing, dude. I mean, the Rangers bring in veterans all the time. Like the Rangers trade for guys all the time. Like these teams are bringing in guys via trade.
Yeah,
It's really
so
not.
like
It's really not prospect related at all. It's trades.
yeah, and like that's what I'm saying. Why can't we like I don't know. I don't know. I feel like we're trying to be Rembrandt with this.
When you get into the prospect talk, it's more like the Senators who are disappointing. Um, Anaheim, who's one of the worst teams in the league, like has been for a while. Like that's when you're banking on like, oh, our farm system's the best. I don't like the position that you're in anymore. Like I used to like hang my hat on that, but now I'm like, fucking move these guys. If they
Yeah,
got
they're
value
trade
around the
chips.
league, yeah, move them.
That's why they're there. They're trade chips. I mean, there's a reason why like teams that win the Stanley Cup, we said this before, aren't like the youngest rosters in the NHL because like you said, they're churning guys and they're making moves and they're dealing their prospects for guys that they know can get it done. Because at the end of the day, no matter how good these guys look in the NHL, you're or in the AHL, Yuri Cool can come up and he could be a bust. And then we're like, well, fuck, we thought we had something here, and it turns out we got nothing. But
Yeah,
I'd
the key
rather,
is to find the guys that you think are going to be good and like they actually become good and deal the ones that you think are going to be like just okay.
yeah,
Like yeah, Yuri Kulik is scoring like fucking 20 goals. Like he's got like what, 15 goals, 16 goals already. He's got a lot of goals. He could come up here and max out at 15 goals. And then we're like, "Oh geez, like, we thought
hmm
we had a 30 goal scorer here."
yeah, yeah, it's like Moneyball. Like you don't need like this great. You don't need all these studs, and then you don't need all these players. Like just find the guys that work, put the pieces together, and go do it. Kevin Adams. Like I don't think he's going to do it, but that's what we're asking for. But all right, so that's
Let's
Amerks.
move on.
Yeah, let's get into some goofballs here.
Sure.
You want to go first this week?
Yeah, my goofball of the week. We're gonna stick to one. Last year we got off the rails with the new segment
You
that I pitched. So
you took goofball literally.
yeah, no, I did. It was insane. But so my goofball of the week is Cutter Gauthier, formerly of the Philadelphia Flyers. So shout out to the USA men's team. They just won gold at the World Juniors over Noah Auslin's and Anton Wahlberg's Sweden team. Man, Cutter Gauthier was so good. He won Best Forward in the tournament, former fifth overall pick of the Flyers in 2022. And this week, he told the Flyers to fuck off, and they traded him. Crazy story here, man. Crazy. So, like, they drafted this kid fifth overall in 2022. He is excited. Obviously, you're drafted, blah, blah. That summer, the same summer, he says to the Flyers, hey, I don't want to be a Flyer. They're like, okay, give you some space. It's fine. We drafted you fifth overall. We have your rights. This year, multiple times, the audacity of this child. I cannot believe this when I'm reading, what I'm hearing, and what I'm reading. The audacity of this kid. So John LeClaire, Danny Briere, and a couple other guys in the Flyers organization, legends by the way. John LeClaire is one of the best American players of all time. Goes to Boston College where Gauthier plays and tries to talk to him, which is very normal for prospects. Like your guys will come, like your teams will come down and talk to your prospects like after games all the time, so check in on them, whatever. He says no. He sends the coach out there to go say, "Hey, Cutter's not talking to you." This apparently happened 3 times. Dude, I can't believe that. Like your team's front office is coming to check on you and like, make sure you're doing okay and like, normal shit. And you're gonna say you're not even gonna talk to him? That's
That's
insane.
crazy. That is crazy
So
to me. When I heard that he wasn't the one who like talked to him, I'm like, that is such a bitch
let's
move.
fast forward. Let's fast forward to last week. So during the World Junior, obviously, like front offices around the world are gonna go and check out these players, their prospects and stuff. So again, the Flyers send their A team front office guys. Danny Briere himself went to go talk to Cutter Gauthier, and he said, "Nah, I ain't talking to you." Dude, holy shit. So good for the Flyers. They trade him to Anaheim in a deal
Should have
for
traded him to
Jamie
us
Drysdale.
if they really wanted to punish him. They should have sent him to fucking Buffalo.
They sent him to Anaheim for a second round pick and Jamie Drysdale, who's a young defenseman.
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
my God, man, what a fucking goofball Gauthier is. Like, dude, you are a kid. You cannot you cannot run the show like that. Like I feel like that's a knock on him, in my opinion. Like he's a
Oh,
good player and everything,
absolutely.
but he's a good player, but that would be a massive red flag for me.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, for sure. And even
And you don't
like
want to
your
play in
like,
Philly? Come on.
well, even like your teammates too. Like your new teammates are gonna be like, this kid's kind of seems like a scumbag.
Yeah, and he's best buddies with Trevor Zegras because they grew up like they played for the same U.S. development team and all that. But like, man,
Yeah, but Zegers is coming
I
here now.
I know, dude. Xerxes' name is in trade rumors. It's fucking insane how everything is, kind of picking up a little bit around the league, which is nice. But man, Cutter Gauthier, you fucking goofball. Like, thanks for winning my country a gold and everything, and you're a great American, but I don't think you should be running the show like that at 18 years old.
Yeah, but good content for us. So there we go.
Yeah.
I thought
Name your
so. So when I said that you were taking goofball literally, I thought you were going with your pool guy.
oh, the button dick guy?
Yeah, with his balls in the pool.
Dude,
Yeah.
listen, the naked guy is my hero. The guy this guy got naked. I don't know if you guys have seen it. This guy got naked at a Bass Pro Shop and jumped in the giant fish tank and was being memed endlessly because his just penis was nowhere to be found. So fortunately for him, he fell out of the tank and knocked himself unconscious, and now he's a lifelong meme. But that
Oh yeah.
guy's not
Oh
a
yeah, for
goofball. That
sure.
that guy's
Oh,
my
for sure.
hero. That guy's
All right.
what an
All right.
incredible person.
Well, my goofball, I'll be short and sweet with this because I don't even want to talk about him much. And it was supposed to be last week, somewhat old news now. But Aaron
He made it even
Rodgers,
worse. He made it
yeah.
even worse over the past week.
Oh, I know. But Aaron Rodgers is my goofball of the week and probably could be every single week that we do this show. But more specifically, just for his comments on Kimmel. And it's just like, it's crazy that he has this like faction of supporters who just would like die on a blade for him. And just like, it's like everything he like spits is just like gospel. And he's just like, going on McAfee and just like spewing all these like unfounded claims, and I'm just like, oh my god.
Conspiracy theories and shit. Like you can't go on a national show. Like he's on ESPN talking shit about ESPN executives. It's insane.
The bigger goofball though, I think, is the New York Jets because you're paying this guy so much money. You think he's gonna get you a Super Bowl? Like they're out of their minds. Even if he comes back next year after this Achilles injury, like the New York Jets are not winning a Super Bowl. Do you know how fucking hard it
Right.
is to win a Super Bowl? The Bills are this elite team, and they haven't been able to do it in the last 3 years with Josh Allen. It's like you're not winning a Super Bowl with Aaron Rodgers. I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't even make the playoffs last year. So honestly, the joke's on them, and let's see who can make the playoffs first, the Jets or the Sabres. I don't know.
Yeah. Aaron Rodgers is a big old clown. You can't really exactly be like accusing people of being on Epstein Island without like any proof at all and come out ahead of that. Like you can't be doing that.
Yeah, it's just crazy, man. I mean, it's just like Nick Wright was saying, it's just so dangerous to just be saying shit like that. Just like
Yeah, you can't like just call someone a pedophile like that. Like, what the fuck, dude? Like, you can't say that. You can't. You just don't do that. You don't. You can't be doing that.
no, not when you're him and you have as much influence as he has. It's just madness. It's just madness. But all right, do we want to just finish up with some Bills before we do the look ahead for the Sabres here?
Yeah, dude, we made the playoffs. We fucking did it.
Number two seed. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
It's insane that we were the 11th seed after like week 12, and we battled all the way back to take the 2 seed in the AFC, and we get to play the Steelers in the playoffs at home. The weather scares the shit out of me, man. Have you seen anything about the weather for Sunday?
No, I've been watching. I've seen a lot of shit about the KC Miami game. Just gonna be like
Oh,
shitty weather,
that's
but
fine. It's just going to be 0 degrees. It's going to be like the New England game for us, where there was no snow and it was zero,
yeah. Okay, whatever. I
which
don't.
wasn't even
Yeah,
that bad. I mean, I was there. It was not that bad. If you know, I mean, the players will be warm because they're playing, but like for fans, like in 0 degree weather, if you know what you're doing and you know what to wear, you're going to be fine. Like that's going to be no big deal. But for our game, dude, it might be like I'm seeing like parallels with the Indianapolis game. Remember the crazy snow game we had against Indianapolis?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Yeah, and
seeing
why are
like
people like
that.
everyone's like saying that that's like such a neutralizer? Like, dude, like I don't care if it's snowing. Mason Rudolph is like I'm not taking Mason Rudolph over Josh Allen in the snow. Like especially when Josh Allen can run like he runs. If the snow is going to make it more conducive for running, like I mean, we have a good run game. We got the dump truck, Leonard Fournette, and now, and we got James Cook, who's been running the ball fine, and then you have Allen. So like, it doesn't scare me at all. I don't agree with the sentiment that like that's a neutralizer for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I really feel like we're gonna take care of business on Sunday, like pretty handily, no matter what the weather is.
What's
I
the line? Nine and a
not
half, right?
yeah, I gotta I really think this team is just like kind of feeling it. And the thing that gets me the most excited, and it's gonna suck if there really is this weather, but Allen is saying in the media, and he even said this after the game the other day, that the last two drives and even today in practice, the ball is coming out of his hand better than it has all season.
Yeah.
Is the term he keeps using.
Yeah.
A Josh Allen that is slinging it out there with no regard for you know anyone's safety and is just gonna take your team like and skull fuck your team just with him by himself. That's the best player in the league. A guy with confidence like that.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like they've had such a weird year, but I kind of feel like the best I have going into the playoffs because you have the 2 seed finally. Like the road to the Super Bowl could potentially go through Buffalo, which is crazy. I mean, they need a Baltimore loss, but I'm not, the Ravens are good, but like I'm not like super scared to like go to Baltimore. Like I'd be honestly just more scared of going to Kansas City just because of the past and like they have
Well, they'd
Patrick
come here.
Mahomes. Well,
They
no,
got
I'm
to come
saying,
here.
but yeah, no, but I'm saying like in years past we've had to go to Kansas City. So like I think either way, whether it goes through Buffalo or whether it goes through Baltimore, I think the path there this year is much greater, especially now that they have the 2. They've never been this high before. They've never had the 2 before. They've always been the 3 or lower. I'm pretty sure. So
I
it's one
will
of those things.
say I don't want Kansas City to win on Saturday. I don't want to. If we win, I mean, I don't want Kansas City to come here at all.
Yeah, yeah. Or I think we.
I,
No, yeah, I agree with you. But I think we did have the
if
2
they
the
if they
one year they had
win,
the 1.
yeah. If they won, they come here. If they lose, then we play the winner of Cleveland and Houston. I There's just something about Kansas City, like they've been so like mid all year where they're like, dude, they could turn it on too. That's a team that I don't want to play.
I know, dude. But so do you? Would you rather see like Kansas City in the playoffs? Like I don't want to see that because there's just so much trauma and scar tissue there. Like I don't want that. But would you rather have that or Miami? It's just something to me, something in my head like scares me about beating a team 3 times in one season. Like we already beat them twice, and like I don't know. It's so hard to beat a team 3 times, and I know Allen owns them, and he's beat them like 11 times or 10 times.
Well,
But
could you imagine? Could you imagine this scenario? We win, Miami wins. We win again against the winner of, Houston, Cleveland, whatever one, take your choice. And then Miami beats Baltimore. And the right to go to the Super Bowl is us versus Miami
I
in
know that'd
Orchard
be
Park.
nuts. That'd be nuts.
Like, I'm kind of hoping that that's the path because that would be incredible.
It's such a good rivalry right now between them. I
And
mean, like
Miami,
besides the
dude,
fact that Allen owns them, but
and I feel like Miami is a little bit underrated because they haven't beaten a team with a winning record, but like when they get all their guys healthy, like that's a fucking track team. They
yeah,
got
yeah,
Waddle,
for sure,
healthy
for sure.
Waddle. The reason I think the Chiefs are in trouble is they sat out Waddle and Mostert. A healthy
Right.
Waddle, a
Yep.
healthy Mostert,
Yep.
Hill, and A-Chain. Dude, that team could cause Kansas City some problems.
Kansas City's defense is good though, so I don't know. All right,
They
so let's
are.
predict. Let's
They're one of
predict
the
though.
best in the league.
So let's start with that game. Are you taking Dolphins or Chiefs? Who are you taking?
I'm taking the Dolphins, man. I'm
You're
taking the
taking Miami,
Dolphins.
huh? You're taking
Yeah.
Miami. I'm gonna take the Chiefs. I'm taking the Chiefs. They're at home, and I just think that I don't know something about the Chiefs in the playoffs, and I think they're finally going to get to come here. I think that's what the NFL wants, and you know how I am with these scripts. That's just how I roll. But
Okay.
yeah, all
In
right,
the
and
other
then
game, in the other game,
all
other
right
AFC game, who are you taking?
in the other one or ours?
The other game. I mean, we're taking the Bills. Let's be real.
Yeah, yeah,
We didn't
yeah.
even talk
Okay.
about it.
Yeah, but the one thing I want to say about the Bills real quick, I'm taking the Bills, but I think that I feel like every year they put the game that they don't think is going to be very close at 1 o'clock, and I feel like there's a reason they put Bills and Steelers on Sunday at 1 because like I think the NFL is even thinking it's going to be a blowout, and I think they're going to take care of business. I think they're gonna pound Pittsburgh
Yeah.
and win by 2 scores. Yeah, and then so it's what is it? It's Chiefs. No,
Browns,
it's
Texans.
Browns, Texans, dude, that is tough. I'm gonna take the Browns just because as good as CJ Stroud's playing, that defense in Cleveland is legit. And yeah, I don't
Flacco is
know.
fucking slinging it, dude.
Flacco's playing good, and it's just
Flacco's
something. It's
slinging
just
it.
so hard for rookie quarterbacks too to just like get playoff wins. Like you kind of got to like
Yeah.
go through it. So I'm gonna take Cleveland there.
All right, let's go to the NFC matchups. Who you got Sunday at 4:30? We got Packers and Cowboys.
Packers and Cowboys, huh? I'm gonna take the Cowboys in that game. I think that game could be sneaky close though. Honestly,
Dude,
I do think it can be.
I'm taking Packers. I
No.
think dude, Jordan Love. This is where it's unfair. Like God, I feel like if God exists, he loves like certain parts of the country more than others. Because how the fuck can the Green Bay Packers go from Brett Favre to Aaron Rodgers to Jordan Love? Like it's just unfair.
Dude,
Jordan Love
I
is
didn't realize
so
his
good.
stats were as good as they were.
He is so fucking good. He's a good player. And the Cowboys, man, I think they're awesome too, but I kind of feel like I'm just kind of manifesting a Cowboys meltdown and loss because that's the funniest possible thing.
I'm gonna take the Cowboys just because they're at home and they've been pretty solid at home. So all
Dude,
right, so we're different
Mike
there.
McCarthy coaching the Packers.
Yeah. So we're different
Uh,
there, and then we. Oh yeah. Well, coaching against his old team. Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
forgot
that's
about
what I
that.
meant.
All right, Rams Lions. Who you got there?
I got the Rams, dude. I'm part of the Ramily. I'm on the Ramily this year.
No, it's the
I think
Rampede.
I think it's the Ramily, dude.
What is Ramily?
Like family. The
Oh God.
Ramily.
Oh my God.
Dude, that team's good. You got Puka. You got what's the running back's name? He was incredible. Oh my
Yeah,
God,
Kyron Williams.
Kyron Williams. Yeah, he's escaping me.
Yeah.
Uh, Cup. That defense. They got a lot of young guys on that D, and that's gonna be a good game. I'm super excited to watch that one. I'm looking forward to that one the most. I think besides our game.
Yeah, I'm taking the Rams as well. I'm taking. So you're taking the Ramily. I'm taking the Rampede. Let's see who comes
Okay,
out on
okay.
top. And then
And
we got Eagles
finally, dude.
Bucks.
Yeah. What you go first on this one?
I'm taking the Bucks.
Me too. Let's go. I got the Bucks in an upset. I got the
Philly
Bucks
is
in an
so
upset.
overrated, and they are just
Uh,
on a steep decline.
Dude, have you seen how well Baker Mayfield has played this season?
Yeah, he's been solid, man.
And I just feel like
28 touchdowns and 10 interceptions.
the Eagles are in a massive downspan. They've lost like what, 5 of 6, I
Yeah, they're
think.
playing shitty, and Hurts got hurt,
Yeah.
like his finger.
And
Like
I feel like they're kind of a lot of stuff coming out of Philly too is like AJ Brown's press conferences aren't exactly like the most positive right
yeah.
now.
Well, he just
So I
got
feel
hurt
like
too,
they're
didn't he? He's banged up. I
yeah,
think.
he's a
Yeah.
little banged
Yeah.
up. That locker room is kind of fractured. Like, oh man, I'm so excited that you picked that you said Bucks too, because I it would make me laugh so hard if the Bucks won.
All right, we're pretty. We got a couple different. We got the Dolphins Chiefs different, and then we got the Packers Cowboys different. So that'll be fun to see what happens. So yeah, cool. So
I
looking
can't wait.
forward
This
to
is the best
a
time of year.
fun.
This is the best.
Yeah. Yeah, it's great. It's like it just shows you like how much this community can really get behind a team. You know, like that's how it used to be with the Sabres. I feel like we get more fans at the AFC clinching airport game than we do at the actual Sabres games
Dude,
nowadays.
the Bills came home from the airport at 4:30 in the morning, and there was a line of people out to greet them. Like, what a
There was like
crazy
3,000
situation!
people there. I think they said.
That's insane. That's insane.
And just speaking of that,
I
like
mean,
Dwayne posted a picture of like him when he was younger. I just saw it today, and it was like him and his old Sabres jersey with I don't know who it was, one of his family members, but just kind of talking about like reminiscing on how like it was like the Sabres were just everything back then. Like people were going to parties or like big events and like weren't even caring about it. They were watching what the Sabres were doing on TV. Like it was just so crazy to just like see all these because people have been posting all this stuff just like how it was back in the day and just so upsetting that we're here where we are. But the Bills are carrying the torch, that's for sure.
yeah, dude,
Keeping
honestly,
this city burning.
it's so funny. Dude, Dwayne was in his feelings today on Twitter. I don't blame the guy.
Everyone is,
Nice
man.
guy.
Everybody is. It's just like it was supposed to be the year, but hey, at least we got the Bills, and I think this city might
Some
actually
chick
burn
I
if they
saw
win a Super
I
Bowl.
saw I saw some girl. I'm not sure her name. I can't remember the account. A girl like a Sabres fan, female Sabres fan posted. Um, Something about how she's very young, like she thinks she's like 20-ish, and is like people her age like don't give a fuck about the Sabres.
Yeah, yeah,
Like
yeah.
the Sabres have lost like an entire generation of fans,
Yeah, it was
and I get it.
Chloe.
Oh,
Chloe
okay,
Wotanic. I liked
okay.
a couple of her shits from our podcast account. Yeah, she says the Sabres lost my entire generation of fans. I'm 20 years old. I wish I was 8 years old the last time the Sabres made the playoffs. Kids my age just don't care about this team, and it's nobody's fault besides the team. I like that because it couldn't be more true, honestly.
Yeah, shout out Chloe for the it's
Oh yeah, shout out Chloe, and let's just throw a shout
she
out to Megan Chike in here too because we got to do that. So,
because we love Megan Chaka. One day she's gonna discover our podcast and we'll be working for ESPN too.
all right, should we look ahead here and close things out?
What do we got? What do we got next?
I actually haven't even looked. Let me load up the app here real
Uh,
quick and see. So we
we
got
got
Ottawa.
tomorrow. Yep, tomorrow against Ottawa.
These are all at home, so it should be a fun little stretch here. So before we talk next, so we're recording next Thursday, I think, because we got a game on
Yeah, 'cause we have
Wednesday.
a Wednesday game.
So it's gonna be they're all home. So we got Ottawa, my boys from Vancouver. We got the Sharks, and then we got the Blackhawks. So those are the four. So
So
what are we
I
thinking there?
well, I'll be in attendance for the Sharks game on Martin Luther King Day cause it's at 1 o'clock.
Oh,
So
dude,
I'll be in attendance there.
I think Eric's going too. I'll double check on
Oh,
that, but
maybe
Eric
I'll
might
have
be
to
going
meet up
too.
with them.
Yeah, yeah. Shout out
But
Eric.
so, dude, let's get 4 wins. I'm just gonna be as positive
Dude,
as
no
possible.
fucking way.
I'm gonna I'm gonna
You
be
are
as
so
positive as possible.
that is so unbelievable that you just said that. Oh my god.
Dude, so we're playing. If we okay, fold the franchise if we lose to the
I don't
Sharks.
even know what to think right now. I, I am in awe. You just
Fold the
dummied my
franchise
brain.
if we lose to the Sharks and we lose to the Blackhawks without Bedard. Just fold the franchise. The league can like dissolve our team. All our guys can go like as free agents to other teams. Just fold the franchise at that point.
All right, so you're saying 4-0.
I'm saying 4-0. Fuck it. Let's get the boys fired up.
All right, this is my prediction. Ready for this?
Yep.
Ottawa tomorrow, loss. Vancouver on Saturday, definite loss, double loss. We're probably going to get doubled up in that game. Sharks on Monday, you're going to that game?
Yep.
Loss followed by subsequent Don Granato firing on Tuesday the 16th.
Oh my God. That's Kids Day, dude.
And Wednesday the 17th, we will beat the Chicago Blackhawks.
Sick. Yeah, because we're gonna get that new coach bump.
Exactly. It'll be Seth Appert. He'll be like, "Hey boys, I want you to go out there. Listen to me. Listen. If you only listen to one thing I say this whole time, listen to one thing. I just don't want you to get bored playing the right way. Just listen to that."
We gotta end it there. That's the last thing we gotta say on the podcast.
All right. Well,
Uh,
appreciate you guys listening. If you still are, you're probably crazy, but thanks for listening.
we
And you know
shouldn't
what to
even
do.
do a regular outro. They don't deserve it.
Follow us at Saber Spotlight. You know what though, dude? Like, it's more fun. It's more fun listening to like joining on the misery. Like we say every week, if we're gonna be in shambles, let's at least do it together. And we have some fun on here. Talk about some more stuff other than just the Sabres. But yeah, so at Saber Spotlight, follow us on Twitter, Ryan. Before you yell at me again, go ahead. What's your
We don't
Twitter?
even have to do this. We don't even have to do this. Let's just end it. We gotta end it on "Don't get bored playing the right way."
All right, I'll say it. Don't get bored recording the right way. There we go.
Yep. We're gonna hang that up. That's what's gonna be said on the next loose leaf paper.
All right, Sabres fans. Well, we will see you next week, and go Bills.
See ya.